The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Luke. Some Sadducees, those who denied that there is a resurrection, came forward and put this question to Jesus, saying, "Teacher, Moses wrote for us, if someone's brother dies, leaving a wife but no child, his brother must take the wife and raise up descendants for his brother. Now, there were 7 brothers. The first married a woman but died childless. Then the second and the third married her, and likewise all the 7 died childless. Finally, the woman also died. Now, at the resurrection, whose wife will that woman be? For all 7 had been married to her." Jesus said to them, "The children of this age marry and remarry, but those who are deemed worthy to attain to the coming age and to the resurrection of the dead neither marry nor are given in marriage. They can no longer die, for they are like angels, and they are the children of God because they are the ones who will rise. That the dead will rise, even Moses made known in the passage about the bush, when he called out, 'Lord, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob.' And he is not God of the dead, but of the living, for to him all are alive." The Gospel of the Lord. I wonder if you have someone in your family like my Aunt Catherine. Oh, Aunt Catherine Kaler. She was classy, and she knew it, and she intended for you to know it as well. She was not from Baltimore. She was from Philadelphia. And she was not Aunt Catherine. She was Aunt Catherine. And Aunt Catherine had a variety of phrases, and she delivered them with great aplomb. And I remember when I was little, she spoke about something. She talked about unmitigated gall. And I had no idea what she was talking about. And I remember going to my mother and saying, "What does that mean, unmitigated gall?" My mother said, it's like being brazen." I don't know what brazen means either. But in today's gospel, you have a great example in the Sadducees. The Sadducees who did not believe in the resurrection. The Sadducees who dared to come up to Jesus and try to torture him with their convoluted arguments. That was an example of unmitigated gall. And why is that? Because they're coming up to the one who is the only one who came down from heaven, the one who knows everything there is about the 4 last things: death, judgment, heaven, and hell. Those 4 things we concentrate on in the month of November. And they had the unmitigated gall to look into the face of the Son of God and say, "You don't know what you're talking about." But sadly, this isn't just something that happened 2,000 years ago with the Sadducees. It happens today among many, many Catholics. So many Catholics today have the unmitigated gall to go to Jesus and say, "You don't know what you're talking about." Jesus teaches about the 4 last things, not just once or twice, but over and over and over again in the Gospels. He teaches about death. He teaches about judgment. He teaches about heaven and hell. And yet many Catholics fold their arms and say, I don't agree with them. That takes gall. Now, some people try to smooth it out a bit. It's a little awkward to simply say Jesus doesn't know what he's saying. So we separate Jesus from the Catholic Church, oldest trick in the book. It's in the gospel. It's in the Bible. It's right there. And many times, clever people, clever priests, clever teachers, clever theologians, with all sorts of fancy language, they basically look into the face of what Jesus teaches us and says, you don't have to believe it. You know, it's a political season. Heaven, okay, right now heaven has a 78% approval rating among Catholics. Hell, not so much, around 22%. La-di-da. These are not matters of opinion. And yet we've turned the very teaching of Jesus into just another opinion. Who's into that? Who's not into that? It happens all around us. And it happens in part because we have learned a nice way to say, I'm going to live the way I want to live. And if Jesus is teaching, even if they're clear, that there is death and judgment, there is heaven and hell, if those things mess up my lifestyle, I'll just kind of rearrange them to fit my way. That is unmitigated gall. And you can only get away with it for so long, namely as long as you're here on earth. Then you're going to deal with the way things really are. There is death. There is judgment. There is heaven and there is hell. And all the liars who've been speaking sweet words from pulpits like this and theology classes like that, they're going to be seen for what they are. They were liars. And Jesus spoke the truth. And we must remember that Jesus speaks the truth even about these last things because he loves us, because he wants us to be in heaven forever. He loves us enough to speak the truth. And you have to go all the way back to the beginning, the Garden of Eden, and remember what that liar, the snake, did. Do you remember what he did, his second temptation? He said to our first parents, okay, all right, God said you can't do this, you can't do that, and you know why? Because he wanted to keep you from really good stuff. That is the lie of the devil from day one. God's stupid rules, stupid laws are keeping you from really good stuff. Don't fall for it. Don't listen to those liars with the unmitigated gall to tell you that you can be a Catholic and not believe in judgment, that you can be a Catholic and not believe in hell. Don't listen to them. Smooth words. Liars. Jesus Christ loves you enough to speak the truth to you. He wants you to be with him and with your loved ones forever in heaven enough to tell you how to get to heaven. Listen to him. He knows what he's talking about when he speaks about the life of the age to come. Who are you listening to? Listen to Jesus. He knows what he's talking about. Listen to Jesus.